Morning guys, happy Friday. Hope you've had a good rest of the week and I'm looking forward to the weekend. So as usual we're going to start off with our reading. So today we've got a poem called Daffodils. So what I'd like you to do, like we've done earlier in the week, is pause the video and have a read on your own because that's how our brains grow, and then I'll read it for you afterwards, okay? So pause the video now and have a go at reading it yourselves. Okay, well done. Now you've had a good try at that, we're going to read it all together. Okay. One little daffodil had nothing much to do. Out popped another one, then there were two. Two little daffodils were smiling at a bee. Out popped another one, then there were three. Three little daffodils were growing by the door. Out popped another one, and then there were four. Four little daffodils were glad to be alive. Out popped another one, then there were five. Five little daffodils were wearing golden crowns. They danced in the wind in lovely green gowns. Okay, so now, as usual, we're going to answer some questions about the poem. So the first question is, what were two little daffodils smiling at? So again, we haven't got a worksheet that we can tick on, so you need to write out your answers in a full sentence, okay? So what were two little daffodils smiling at? So what you need to do here is have a look back at the text which I've put on the screen and you might also have in front of you, okay? So we're looking for what two little daffodils were smiling at. So first we need to find the part in the poem that talks about two daffodils. So what I want you to do is pause your screens and try and find it for yourselves. Okay, fab. So two little daffodils is here. Two little daffodils were smiling. Okay, now I'd like you to find what they were smiling at. So have a look at that bit that I've underlined and see if you can answer the question. What were two daffodils smiling at? Okay, so you should see that they were smiling at a bee. So remember how we need to write our answers. You need to put number one and then you need to write the whole sentences. So two little daffodils were smiling at, and again I've put the text here just in case you've forgotten, but here's the line, two little daffodils were smiling at, and I need you to write out the sentence with the end, with the answer on the end, okay? So pause your screens now while you have a go at writing that one out. Okay, and that should be how your answer looks. Well done, guys. Give yourselves a tick if you've managed to get that one. Okay, question number two. Where were the daffodils growing? Okay, and we've got the start of our sentence here. Okay, the daffodils were growing by the... So what we need to do first is have a look on the poem and see where it talks about daffodils growing. So I'd like you to pause your screens and have a little look where it talks about the daffodils growing. Okay, well done. If you found it, it's down here. It says three little daffodils were growing, and it tells us where they were growing. So what I'd like you to do is have a read of that, pause your video and write out your answer. So it should be number two. The daffodils were growing by the... and finish that off for me, okay? Pause your screens while you finish that off and then we'll go on to the next one. Fab, well done. The daffodils were growing by the door. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Number three, what do you think the word glad means? So you might already know, okay, it's either sad, happy or cross. Okay, so if we look on the text where the word glad is, because I know this one might be a bit of an easy one, but sometimes there'll be tricky words that we don't know what they mean, and the best way to find out or to have a good guess is to have a look in the text, okay? So we've got four little daffodils were glad to be alive. Okay, so what do you think that means? Do you think it means they were sad to be alive, happy to be alive, or cross to be alive? Have a little think and then I want you to have a go at writing out your sentences. So your sentences will look something like this. Glad means, and you can either put sad, happy, or cross. Okay, pause your screens while you have a go at that one. Okay, fab. So you should have glad means happy. Okay, well done. We'll go on to the next one. Number four. So can you draw lines to match up these sentences? Now, again, we are not going to draw lines. We're going to write out our sentences because we're too clever for that. We can do lots of writing. So what we need to do, this is the first half of the sentences. These bits here, 1 daffodil, 5 daffodils and 4 daffodils. And we need to find the end of the sentence. So we'll do the first one together. So 1 daffodil, let's find in the text, 1 little daffodil. Okay. So we know it's this one. We're starting with this one. We need to see what the end of the sentence is. Is it we're wearing golden crowns? No. Is it had nothing much to do? 1 little daffodil had nothing much to do. Yep, so we know that that one matches. Okay, so I'm drawing the lines here, but I will have the sentences for you on another page. Okay, because you need to write yours out. So it'll look something like this. Okay, so you'll have 1 daffodil, and then you'll finish it off with the second half of the sentence. 5 daffodils and 4 daffodils. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is pause your screens and write those sentences for me. Okay, well done for having a go at that one. And the answers are 1 daffodil had nothing much to do. 5 daffodils were wearing golden crowns. And 4 daffodils were glad to be alive. Okay, well done, guys. And we've got one more. So this one is for you to do on your own. I'd like you to have a go at writing the next verse of the poem, so the next 2 lines of the poem. And if you can, I'd like you to try and make it rhyme. Don't worry if you find it a bit tricky, but have a go. So what you need to think about is how the rest of the poem looks and see if you can add another sentence. So yours is going to start off with 6 little daffodils were, and you can tell me what they were doing. So if we have a look back to the rest of the poem, it says 1 little daffodil had nothing much to do. One popped out, out popped another one, then there were 2. 2 little daffodils were smiling at a bee. Okay, and each line has a different thing that the daffodils are doing. So you can think of anything you like. 6 little daffodils were, you can come up with anything you like. And then try and do another line that will rhyme with it. Okay, so have a go at writing that. So pause your screens and have a go at writing the next verse. Okay, super. I'm glad you've all had a great go at that one. So we will go on to our maths. So the first thing I'd like you to do is pause your screens and have a go putting these numbers into the right order. So we need to start with the smallest number and I want you to end on the biggest number. Okay, so pause your screens and have a go at that for me. Okay, super, well done. And now we're going to go on to some more ordering numbers. Okay, so you've got some numbers have been ordered from smallest, so on this end there's the smallest, to greatest, so this end is the biggest. So we start with 28, so that is the smallest number. That means we won't have any number that is less than 28. Our greatest number is 49, so that means we won't have any numbers that are bigger than 49, okay? But if you have a look, there are 2 numbers that are missing. We've got one missing here and one missing here. Okay, so we've got 3 children here. We've got Sam, Mo and Fred, and they've come up with some answers of what the missing numbers could be. But not all of them are right, okay? So what I want you to do is have a look at each person and have a think about what the missing numbers could be. So remember, it goes in order. So this number has to be bigger than 28 and it has to be smaller than 32, okay? So this number has to be between 28 and 32. So what I'd like you to do is have a think of what number it couldn't be. What could it not be? Okay, and now have another think of a bigger number that it couldn't be. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is pause your screen and have a go at answering this. So the question is, who is right? Is it Sam, Mo, or Fred? And I'll tell you something, it might be more than one of them, okay? But not all of them are right. So to write that answer, you're going to be writing whoever it was. Say it's Sam, you'd put Sam is right, or Mo is right, or Fred is right, okay? So have a go at that for me. Pause your screens. Okay, super. And you should have Mo and Fred are right. Okay, so you should write that in a lovely sentence for me. Okay, then we've got one more just at the bottom here that I've added on. Okay, I'll just highlight it for you. So this part here. Okay, so Fred has said the last number, so the last number up here in this box, the last number has to have 4 tens. Okay, so remember what our tens look like. Okay, so 4 tens is if we had 4 of our sticks, of our base 10 sticks. Okay, and what does 4 tens make? It makes 40. Well done. Okay, so 4 tens is 40. So Fred says the last number has to have 4 tens. Okay, so it can't have any less. It can't have 3 tens, and it can't have 5 tens. Okay, it has to have 4 tens. Is he right? And how do you know? So I want you to explain how you know he's right. Okay, so I want you to have a little go at that one. I've put some sentence starters here for you. So if you think he's right, you can say Fred is right because, and if you think he's wrong, you can say Fred is wrong because. Okay, so have a little go at answering that one and pause your screens while you do that. Okay, super. So you should have that Fred is right. So the last number has to have 4 tens, okay, because the last number goes in here. So it has to be bigger than 39. So what number is bigger than 39? 40, okay, so it could be 40, okay, but it has to be smaller than 49. So what number is 1 smaller than 49? 48, okay, so that means it can be any number between 40 and 48. So that could be 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47 or 48. Okay, so does that mean it will have 4 tens? Think about the starting number. It's 40 something, isn't it? So will it always have 4 tens? Yes, it will. Okay, so Fred is right. The last number has to have 4 tens. Okay, well done for having a go at that one, guys. And we'll go on to our writing. So, why do we write letters? So I know we've covered it a couple of times this week, but it's important that we always keep in our minds why we're writing our letters, okay? So what I'd like you to do is pause your screens for a moment and quickly tell me why we write letters. Okay, fab. It's to give people information, okay? So, again, here's our purpose and our features. So that's why we write letters, and this is what a letter includes, okay? And we've always got our lovely sentence checklist there for us, okay? So, your writing task is today you're going to write the main part of your letter to a friend. So yesterday we started those letters off and you thought about what you wanted to write your letter about. So if you remember, I gave you some of mine and I was going to write about my pets and tell someone all about my pets, okay? So this is the main part of your letter. So it's not the introduction that we did yesterday, but it's the main part. So it's where you're giving them information. So you need to tell them all about your topic that you mentioned yesterday. Okay, so I want you to have a good go at that, remembering that you need all of these features. So you need detail, information, conjunctions, adjectives. Now we don't need the to part because we did that yesterday, but you will need the from part, okay, because we'll finish off our letter. But this is where we're giving them information, okay? So remember your sentence checklist. We need capital letters, we need finger spaces, we need good letter formation, so beautiful handwriting, we need conjunctions, and we need your punctuation, okay? So remember those full stops at the end. So what I'd like you to do is pause your screens and have a go at writing your main part of your letter for me. Okay, super guys, and I can't wait to see those. Lots of you have been sending in your work throughout the week to me on my emails, and I love to see them. So let's see how many I can get at the end of today, okay? And that leaves us with our phonics. So we've been doing the air sound, but this is the air sound. So that's the one we did yesterday. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I'm going to flick through some words and I'd like you to have a read of them. Okay, fab. Now, listen and read. So I'm going to read you a sentence and I need you to write it out and correct it because I've not spelt it right. Okay, I need to practice my phonics a little bit more. So I'm going to read you my sentence and you can have a look at it on the screen and I'd like you to write it out with the correct spellings. Okay, so remember we're doing the a-r-e sound. Okay. I have to share my toys with my sister, but I don't care. Okay, so pause your screens and have a go at writing that out for me, making sure you've put the right spellings in where they should be. Super, guys, well done. Okay, so you should have, I have to share with the a-r-e sound, my toys with my sister, but I don't care with the a-r-e sound. Okay, well done. Okay. So your next part of your sentence, okay, your next part of the phonics is you're going to listen and you're going to write out a sentence for me, okay? So I need you to do your best listening, okay? So, my cat stares at his sister. My cat stares at his sister because he does not want to share his food. It is unfair. So I have put a tricky one in there, okay? My cat stares at his sister because he does not want to share his food. It is unfair. Okay, pause your screens while you finish off that one, guys. Okay, fab. So you should have, my cat stares at his sister because he does not want to share his food. It is unfair. So the one I tricked you with was unfair, okay, because that's the different air sound. That's the one we did earlier in the week, okay? But you should have stares with your a-r-e, and you should have share with your a-r-e, okay? What I'd like you to do now underneath your sentences is add your sound buttons to these words that have the air sound, okay? So all three of them, add your sound buttons for me. Pause your videos. Okay, fab, well done. So now what I'd like you to do, as usual, is write your own sentence with the air sound. So remembering which air sound it is we're focusing on. We are focusing on a, r, e. Okay, so that's the sound we're looking at this time. Okay, write your own sentence with the air sound. Okay, so pause your videos while you have a go at that one for me. Okay, super. Well done, guys. And that's the end of today's learning video. Don't forget to send me all of your work and activities to the email address below. Okay, ask your grown-ups to do that for you. And I can't wait to see all the lovely work that you've done. So well done, guys. Have a lovely weekend.